Good afternoon. Most people are familiar with Schrodinger's quote that I'm displaying. I would suggest, though, to lead to broad take-up, and this is what I'm going to be talking about briefly this afternoon, those that allocate the budgets, i.e. those in finance, must be convinced. So, I'd like to spend a little while talking about the development of the business case for building performance evaluation. I'm David Adams. I'm Business Development Director of the Building Performance Network. Very briefly, the BPN is there to facilitate a clear voice for BPE, to promote and develop BPE and provide leadership, and that means influencing policy, procurement and practice within the building performance evaluation area. Who are we? Small team to work with our network, bring them together and push for change. And in terms of progress, lots of progress made over the last few years. We certainly feel things are accelerating in this space. And we had a really effective meeting with Eddie Hughes MP, the Parliamentary Under-Secretary for Housing, who really got what we were saying about the importance for measurement, importance for understanding performance, not least because in a previous role he was a civil engineer and spent time on a building site. Great thing for a minister to have done. So, in terms of the business case, we're looking to create case studies. Why is that? Well, we've got quite a lot of literature and quite a lot of studies, BPE studies that have been published. Indeed, a number of them are hosted on the BPN resource website. But those tend to be focused on what was done, how it was done, the types of buildings they were with, the findings and the lessons. What they don't typically go into very much detail about is what are the financial benefits of all of those lessons. They touch on it, but they don't major on it. As a consequence, I'd suggest that BPE take-up is mostly where it's either been specifically grant funded or it's a funding requirement. There's relatively little uptake of BPE techniques because the client recognises the importance and the client recognises this is of financial value for them, not just something that makes good sense. And in the case studies that exist as a consequence, those key financial elements aren't drawn out, and they're not drawn out in a manner that makes it very easy for those that want to push the BPE agenda and want more BPE within their organisations to readily locate in order to create that internal business case for their approvals processes, their applications for money internally and the likes. So, what is a business case study then? Well, key is obviously a little bit of an overview of the project, who was involved, what it was doing, but particularly focusing on some of the value features, and I am unashamedly talking about financial elements to this. So from an improved occupant health and well-being, what does that mean in financial terms, not just human terms? What about the whole life savings? Of course, reduced running costs, but all the other aspects within whole life savings that need to be taken into account. avoided costs, rework costs, for example, reduction of risks, reduction of complaints, and don't underestimate the complaint management costs and publicity implications of complaints, particularly in the types of projects that really should have been evaluated. And let's think a little bit further on with regard to a marketing, i.e. the ability to sell assured performance. That requires strong building performance evaluation processes in order to drive that continuous investment loop, in order to be confident if you're selling something, you really are delivering it and you are able to demonstrate that you've delivered it. And of course, another angle being verifying what clients have actually paid for and determining that's what they got. So those kind of things, but very much a business case, a financial angle to them. What are the sectors? Well, the sectors we're initially focusing on are social housing, care homes / supported living, community and health centres, schools and higher education learning centres. Why is that? That's because we think that that's the area that, to start with, we're going to be able to get people to understand that business case and start to invest to drive building performance evaluation forwards. Of course, it doesn't mean it doesn't apply to other sectors. Sorry about the double negative. Of course, it applies to other sectors, but these are the ones where we believe we can leverage buying in order to have BPE integrated into existing and new contracts. What's the process? Well, we've applied for core funding to support this. What we are now looking at, and we're having some really good conversations, but would like more, on potential case study partners. The BPN would coordinate the case studies, facilitate them, and help, and obviously do the publication and promotion. They would assist with the technical writing, but that would be very much supported by the case study providers. So, key question, and looking at the later speakers, they may well have some, you may have some. Do you think you've got a BPE example that could be turned into a business case study? Because if you do, we would love to hear. This is really important to get this mainstreamed. So anything that you feel you've got that we might be able to draw the appropriate bones out, let's have a chat, please. My number and contact details are on the screen now. Thank you for your time. If you think you've got the elements of a case study, please do get in contact. Likewise, if you'd like to know more about the Building Performance Network, what we do, how we work, and maybe are considering joining, then again, please contact me on the email or number shown. Thank you.